Hello everybody, it's Nick here with Nick Tolman Music, and today we are going to look at two really common guitar methods and we're going to compare them. We're going to figure out which one is best for you. So let's get started. So right here I have the Mel Bay Modern Guitar Method Grade 1, and I have the Hal Leonard Guitar Method Book 1. Okay, now both of these guitar methods have been around for a long time, and if you're learning to play guitar, maybe you just got a guitar and you're like, okay, I'm gonna start taking lessons, or I want to start learning. Maybe you went to your local music store, or maybe you looked online. It's very possible that one or both of these guitar methods were recommended to you or came across your feed or whatever. Now, I want to talk a little bit about them and kind of help you understand which one might be better for you. Now, right out of the gate, I'm going to tell you that these are my two most used guitar methods in teaching. I'm a guitar teacher and I've been teaching private guitar lessons. I teach YouTube lessons. I've been doing this for almost 20 years, and again, these two are my most common guitar methods that I use. I use others as well, but these come back all the time. So why don't I just pick one? Well, we're going to talk about that a little bit today. They look very similar. If you look at it, you're like, oh, grade 1, book 1. I'm sure they're basically the same, just two different, authors. They have a lot of similarities, but they also are very different. So let's talk about that a little bit, okay? So first, let's talk about the similarities. Both of these methods are what I would call a more traditional approach to learning guitar. And what I mean by that is that they are both going to teach you to read notes and rhythms. I'm a big proponent of that, and we can talk about that more later in the comments below or wherever you'd like. But they both do that, okay? So if you're looking to learn to read notes, to learn to read rhythms, both of these books are going to do that for you, okay? Both of these books are going to teach you notes. They're going to teach you chords. They're both going to teach you in the plectrum style, which means that the idea is that you're using a pick rather than using your fingers. Now, a lot of the exercises in both of these books could be done with your fingers as well, but the books are both designed to teach you to use a pick, all right? So yeah, notes, chords, they're both going to teach you strumming as well as picking single note melodies. They're both going to teach you the basic setup and process of holding the guitar, tuning the guitar, the names of the strings, different styles of guitar bodies, things like that. Some of just the basic information. They both offer duets. So they both have several duets throughout the books, which are great. So if you're working with a teacher or you know someone who plays guitar, you can play those together. And the other thing is that they are both exactly 47 pages long. I don't know how that came to be, but they are both exactly the same length. But that leads me to some of the differences. So let's talk about some of the differences in the book. Now, just because the books are roughly the same length does not mean that you are going to be at the same place playing-wise at the end of the book with either of these, okay? So, in general, I will say that the Mel Bay method moves much quicker than the Hal Leonard method, okay? And that can be a good thing or a bad thing, all right? So if you are a person who has never had any musical training at all, ever, your whole life, you've never taken a piano lesson, you've never taken a guitar lesson, you've never learned another instrument, you've never learned to read notes at all, and you're a little bit worried about that. You're worried that it's going to be challenging for you, or it might be move too quickly or whatever. The Hal Leonard book is great for that because it does move a little bit slower. Generally, what I like to say is by the end of this book, you're going to be at a playing level at about where you would find yourself at about the halfway point in the Mel Bay book, all right? So if that's something that's appealing to you, then the Hal Leonard book is a great option. I also oftentimes recommend the Hal Leonard method for kids, ranging from young kids even up to high school students, to kind of depending on where they are at musically. Now, maybe you are wanting to move a little faster. Maybe you've had an experience in the past where you tried to learn guitar, you had a teacher, maybe you were moving way too slow, which is a problem for a lot of people. The Mel Bay method might be a better option for you because it does move a little faster. All right. Now, the thing that the Mel Bay method teaches that the Hal Leonard doesn't is it introduces what's called chord melodies, right? So they both teach melody and chords, but the Mel Bay lesson early on, at about halfway point in the book, starts putting those together, so you are playing chords and melody together to create music. And honestly, a lot of the exercises in this book are just like really enjoyable to play. When you play them, you're like, man, this sounds really good all by myself, which I think is really cool about the Mel Bay method. This one never puts together chords and melody in book one, so you never get that kind of chord melody thing going on. You're either playing chords or melody. You never really put those together. All right. Now, they both teach chords, but they teach chords in kind of a different way. So the Hal Leonard method, I think, teaches chords in the way that you see most often, which is after you've learned a few notes, they're like, all right, you know some notes, here's a G chord, here's a C chord, right? And it just teaches you the chords, and boom, you go on your way. And they don't really explain it much after that. They talk a little bit about strumming and kind of what slash notation looks like, and then say, go, chords, right? And you'll learn several other chords throughout the book as well. Now, the Mel Bay method is a little bit different in how it approaches chords. Me personally, I really like it. It gives you more of a theoretical understanding of what the chords are all about. So before it ever actually gives you a full chord fingering and says play a G chord, boom, you've actually already played those chords because you've learned kind of what the notes are stacked on top of each other. You will understand better the theory behind the chords, what notes are contained in the chords, what makes a G chord, what makes a C chord, because you're reading those in the music in this method. So yeah, with chords, this book actually moves a little faster with chords as far as just like teaching you what a chord is, telling you to strum it, and going. This one gives you a little bit deeper theoretical understanding of what the chords are. But actually, by the end, you're doing more with the chords by far than you are with this book. So that's kind of where you're at there. One thing that the Hal Leonard Method book does that the Mel Bay doesn't is the Hal Leonard Method includes lyrics in many of the exercises. So if you're interested in learning to sing and play the guitar, which a lot of people are, you just kind of want to like strum at the campfire, sing some songs, or in your living room or whatever. This one introduces that right away. Now, not to say that you can't do that with the information that you learn in Mel Bay. There's just no exercises in the book that include words. So if you want to learn to sing any of the songs, you just have to look up the words and learn to sing along that way. So that is another difference between the two. Again, I actually really love both of these methods. Hopefully this helps you answer some of your questions as far as which one is better. One thing to be aware of is that I actually have a guitar series on my YouTube channel for each of these methods where I have a lesson for every single page. So regardless of which one you choose, you can find help here on the Nick Tolman Music YouTube channel. And I will put links in the description below for both of those playlists, as well as both of these books. All right, so the links are in the description below. If this video has helped you decide which one you want to buy, check them out below, and we will see you soon. Thanks.